Britain. I'm not going to do that. But the point is this: the labour market is now in this country in a state of disequilibrium. There are more job vacancies than the number of people unemployed, and that's the very first time that's occurred in British history. Now, this alone suggests that people are either unwilling to do certain jobs that, it has to be said, a lot of migrants were doing from the EU and other countries, admittedly, or they don't have the skills to do it, like a doctor or a nurse, for example. Now, the economy has shrunk. I mean, that's statistically true due to the impact of the global situation with the pandemic and so on. This is true for virtually all economies, I think, even possibly all. But it has been more severe in the UK than other comparable countries if we compare ourselves to the EU or perhaps members of the G7, which seems the most obvious comparison. Now, Brexit hasn't been bad for everyone. It's been wonderful for a certain group within the Conservative Party. We have the most populist government we've ever had, and really the most populist our political culture in Britain would ever really allow for. Brexit has allowed Boris Johnson and courtiers around him, the ERG, the European Research Group, to present the 2019 election, last one we had in this country, as the people versus the powerful, or the people versus the elite. Now, this tactics have been attempted in other countries, like the US is a good example of that, and many other illustrations in the world too, sort of Hungary, Poland, etc. And it does in this world seem to provide a pathway towards power. There's no doubt, I mean, wherever my own personal views, the tactics have been wonderfully successful. It did win over what we call in this country red wall areas, which are traditionally Labour, the heartlands of the North and the Midlands. And a great many of them did vote Conservative for the first time in 2019. Now, Brexit has moved the Overton window towards a populist manner, which the Prime Minister feels his brand will allow him to ignore personal accountability for what he did during the pandemic, for example, how his parties, and ignore the Supreme Court that we have in this country, and for the UK to break international law, which increasingly it seems to be doing, which is terrible. I think most British people have a sense of, they pride themselves on a sense of fair play. Now, that could easily be criticised. I have to hold my hands up there. But that kind of sense has been undermined by this very populist leader in government. Boris himself, interesting enough, has really just put his ego first and has taken the quickest way towards number 10 Downing Street. He's been isolated and inoculated from the concerns of ordinary people. And it's no surprise we've ended up in this situation. For me, Brexit allows him to perform this act, really, and he is a good actor, I have to acknowledge that, of an certainly posh person voicing what he thinks are the prejudgments of ordinary people. And he's done that act quite well. Remains to be seen whether he'll stay in power, but I think Brexit has enabled him to do that.